It's time for another Out and About with Jamie Grout podcast, and this time we'll be talking with the new head coach of the Iowa Nite Hawks. They'll be starting their season soon, and we'll also be talking with the guy who is an owner of the Iowa Nite Hawks, so stay tuned for that. First, a word from our sponsors, including Ryan's Tire and Auto on First Avenue, Newton. Let me tell you about Ryan. First of all, I love Ryan. He's a great guy, and when I started doing this podcast, he contacted me and said, "Hey, how can I get in on your podcast?" He wanted to sponsor this because he's all about the community. If you saw his latest video that he did, he's contributed to so many different causes, including the Salvation Army Food Pantry. And so that's one of the things I love about Ryan. But their service is above and beyond the call of duty, and they really know their stuff at Ryan's Tire and Auto. And just to prove that point, I take a Hyundai Elantra to and from my gig at WHO Radio in the morning. And last year, I was driving down 235, the freeway, goes east and west, west and east through Des Moines, and it was raining really hard just to beat the band. And luckily, there were no cars around me, but because it was around, 4:15 in the morning, and my car did a 360 spin off 235 into a shallow ditch. And luckily it was real shallow that I could get out of it on my own. But it was like a traction problem. And I think Ryan and I both thought it was a front end alignment situation where the tires on the front of the car needed to be replaced. So he put some tires on the front of the car and really didn't have any problems after that. And went through the rest of the summer and everything seemed to be okay. And then in the winter, I drive a van because it has a better heating system in the van. And Ryan winterized my van. And I talked about that in the podcast also. So everything worked okay there. Well, of course, we've gotten into the rainy season here with my Hyundai Elantra, which I switch back to in the summertime when the weather tends to be warmer because it has a better air conditioning system. Okay, I know. I have two cars, one for winter, one for summer. And so we've had a lot of rain. And I've noticed the other day when we had so much rain that the back end on my Elantra was unstable. In fact, it was so unstable on the way back to Newton that the back end was having trouble with traction. And I had to slow down a lot. And so I went to Ryan and I said, "Oh, what do you think the problem is?" And he said, "Well, maybe the back end needs some alignment." So I took it in, dropped the car off there, and not only did the back end need alignment, but the back tires were bald. And if you see Ryan's latest video that you can see on Facebook, he shows my tires on the back end of the car that they're bald. And they were in really bad shape. And that might have been what caused that 360 spin off 235 because they were really, really bad. And neither Ryan or myself knew that because the outside of the tires looked perfectly fine. You wouldn't have known. So thanks to Ryan and the crew at Ryan's Tire and Auto for discovering that. I'm glad they did. They put some new tires on that. They aligned the back end of my Elantra, and I drove it in the rain the other day to Mitchellville and back, and it worked out just fine. I drove it to work yesterday and back, and everything was just great. And we're in for a few more days of rainy weather as I see the forecast, and I'm anticipating everything's going to be just great. And hats off to everybody at Ryan's Tire and Auto for making sure that my Hyundai Elantra is going to work just fantastic as I go safely to my gig at WHO Radio. All right, let's move along to our other sponsors. Newton Clinic, a great place to go if you want to keep your health in check. I just had a great checkup with my doctor, Dr. Joe Levette at Newton Clinic, and you're going to want to stop in there too if you're looking for a new provider. See Kinsey Heiser. She came in from Pella several months ago, and she's looking for new patients. And at Newton Clinic, they have care close to home. At Newton Clinic, they're proud to serve the community with care that is personal, it's familiar, and it's built on trust. And they are here for you and your family at the right place that they want you to call home at Newton Clinic. Another fine sponsor, of course, is Wesley Life. And I'm proud to say that the last few years of my sister's life were at Wesley Life Park Center. You can pursue your joy at Park Center By offering living options across the continuum, Park Center provides vital, enriching environments for everyone, a community for healthy living focused on holistic health and well-being. Their programming enhances emotional, intellectual, and spiritual wellness and enables you to live this life that's healthier in every way. Park Center is at home in Newton, with many residents having lived a life that is full. And Park Center is a place that you should consider living in if you're not living there now. And you can learn more about Park Center's different levels of living and find a lifestyle that's right for you. And if you want to do that, contact Lisa Zylstra at 641-791-5000. That's Lisa Zylstra at 641-791-5000 at Park Center. Another fine sponsor on the Out and About with Jamie Grout podcast is Advantage Credit Union.
If you've been fouled by your financial institution, then blow the whistle. This is Coach Miles from Advantage Credit Union with some one-on-one for a financial victory. At ACU, you're treated like you own the team because you actually do. Advantage Credit Union offers great deposit rates. You actually earn interest instead of paying a monthly fee at you know where.
Bank shot, good!
If you live or work in Jasper County or 18 other central Iowa counties, you are eligible to join. Visit us in downtown Newton or online at acuiowa.org. It's a game winner at ACU.
Member NCUA.
It's time for another Out and About with Jamie Grout podcast, and today we'll be talking about the Iowa Nite Hawks. Did a podcast with them last year. Looking forward to finding out about their season this year. And with us is the new head coach of the Iowa Nite Hawks, David Parker, and Mark Mackerman, who is promoter, owner, cheerleader for the Iowa Nite Hawks. Maybe you can give us a better description of what you do.
So I'm the president of football operations / co-owner. I basically take care of, a lot of the politics outside of, the immediate football team. I deal with the league matters. I'll go out, I'll promote, help recruit players. I'll help Coach Parker here with anything he needs. Look for sponsorships, sell tickets, just anything and everything. I'll do what I can.
So how did the Iowa Nite Hawks get started anyway?
So, strangely enough, I was out at a Midtown Cafe with my co-owner, Gordon Head. At the time, it was Midtown. Now it's
Red Pride
Cafe.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to check that place out yet, but
yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. We were just sitting there eating breakfast one morning. We'd played for a team called the Capital City Command based out of Des Moines. Well, over the course of the year, we had heard rumblings that they were going to fold after the year. Well, it started becoming more and more real. So, as we were joking about bringing the Nite Hawks back, it's a historical team. They'd been around back in the 70s.
Sure.
A lot of history behind the team, an organization. We'll get to that later. But the joke became real, and Gordon's like, let's bring the Nite Hawks back. Let's go get permission to use the name, the entity, the logo and all that. And we went out, we did it. We got permission from Mr. Jim Foster and Stan Allspaw. So,
yeah. Well, it was the Newton Nite Hawks. Why the name change to the Iowa Nite Hawks?
So we just did it to kind of broaden everything. A lot of our supporters come from around, not just Newton, but the Des Moines area, Knoxville. We got guys in Waterloo that travel to play with us or watch us. We just thought broadening our horizons, per se, would be the more intellectual move for the organization, because we also had interested sponsors. It's kind of tough being from Des Moines or Pella saying, it's tough to sponsor a team with Newton in its name.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured that'd be the more intelligent move.
Okay. Well, we're going to throw some questions at David Parker in just a moment, the new head coach. But how did you find David anyway? He was the defensive coach last season.
So I actually have a very great IT guy. He runs our website and all that stuff. We have like a join us page on our website, and I think he found us through there, emailed us, seen his resume, and it just instantly clicked. It's like, all right, this man said he wants to be an announcer. He's more than just an announcer. I'm going to go on and get him here tomorrow.
Okay. So tell us about your coaching experience, David.
Well, it started in 1999. I was playing arena ball. I was a quarterback. Now I look like a lineman. But I was injured severely to where I couldn't throw anymore. And at the same time, our head coach of the team had a heart attack. He survived, but the team came together and asked me to be the coach. I'd never coached. So I took over because I couldn't play anymore. And we had a very illustrious season. We went 0-11. We almost won a game. So I thought my coaching career was done. I was definitely not a coach. At the end of that season, I was approached by a man who had purchased the rights to a Rocky Mountain Football League expansion franchise and offered me the job as a head coach. And I literally looked at him and said, "Did you not just watch what happened?" He goes, "Yeah, I watched a young man who's never coached before almost win in a league where everybody's been together 3 or 4 years. I think if we surround you with the right players and a couple people, we could build something." So it was a better second year. We went 12-0 and won the title. And I've been coaching ever since, off and on. I was active duty Army again for a few years during that time. But I've coached everywhere from Utah to New York to Texas, a little bit in Colorado, and then some up in South Dakota. In the October of 24, we moved here to Iowa to be closer to some of our children. And I was looking for somewhere to be a part of, and I emailed the Nite Hawks, literally trying to be the announcer. I didn't want to be on the sidelines anymore. 20 years is a long time in the sun. And I came on as I jokingly call it the water boy coach because they had other coaches. I was just giving advice. And then at the first game of the season, the now defensive coordinator wasn't able to come. And at the end of the game, due to how things went, he asked me to take over and run the defense. So Coach Zach Innes and I ran it together. And in my opinion, we built the strongest defense in the league by far. We just had a little bit of not firing on all 8 cylinders all the time on the offense. So at the end of the season, Mark and I chatted, and he asked me to do the head coach thing. So here we are trying to do it again.
All right. So what excites you the most about the upcoming season?
I think the biggest excitement comes from the way the players are buying in. I'm trying to bring them a mentality of professional football. I don't really appreciate the word semi-pro. To me, it's developmental. We're still trying to get better. But if you don't act like a pro, don't expect to go pro. Now, I'm not a delusionalist. I know that very, very few people will ever go from this level to the NFL. It's just they have their funnels. They have the way they do things. That doesn't mean they can't get better. But better comes with better attitude, better work ethic, better coaching, and a better team mindset. So we brought in a lot of things about how we talk to each other, how we handle our problems, how we practice. In the last 2 months, these gentlemen have really bought off on it, and I've really seen a lot of wonderful changes in attitude, work ethic, the willingness to come to me and say, okay, why am I running this route underneath this guy? Aren't I pulling DBs my direction? I'm like, yes, that way the guy on the backside is open. So we actually spent like our first 2 practices just having what I called football IQ time. I started talking about, okay, doing this equals what? Just trying to make sure I knew what they knew so we can build from there. The other thing is I'm not a golden playbook guy. I can build playbooks till I'm blue in the face, but if I don't have the players for them, we're not the University of Iowa. We're not Iowa State. I can't go recruit. I need a tight end this year, so I'm going to go get this guy. I get what comes. So I got to be able to look at them and build from there. And they're really buying into that we're playing according to their strengths, their abilities, but I'm pushing them, and they're buying in. So the excitement is the buy-in.
So would those be some of your goals for the upcoming year? And would this be part of your coaching philosophy then?
It's absolutely part of my philosophy that everything starts from the ground up. It's all technique and mindset. I have a lot of verbiage that I use that talks about how you think, how you talk to each other. It's also building a culture. So my target is to build a culture in this team that can grow into a bigger organization, maybe someday a feeder arena team, maybe someday a women's team, maybe start our own Pop Warner kind of football organization, but something that grounds the Iowa Nite Hawks into the communities because we're professional, we smile on the football field, and we put in good work.
What are some of the changes that you've made compared to last season?
Attitude is the number one. Last year we had a tendency that when things got tough, the arguing on sidelines would really get intense. We had some very intense players. So now I've taught them all that if you have a problem with another player, you will literally go over and kneel down on one knee face to face and you'll talk it out. No more of this yelling. We have to be able to keep our cool and keep playing the game, because if football is not a game of overcoming adversity, I'm not sure what game is.
Sure.
And just mutual respect for each other. I've outlawed a lot of verbiage. I don't like certain words being used. I don't like certain talk being used. I don't want somebody from Newton or Des Moines or anywhere in Iowa bringing their 6-year-old kid sitting on my sidelines, hearing a bunch of people using curse words like commas. They don't need that. They want to come see a good professional football game and enjoy themselves.
What are some of the team's biggest strengths heading into this season?
Sheer desire. They've been working with Mark, a lot of them, since 2018 when him and Gordon brought it back, took it over. And the first year they were playing, they lost in the championship. And since then, they've been very hungry to get back to the championship. We got close last year. We lost in the conference championship. We're going to get there this year. So we've got the good longevity. So we got a lot of core players that have been around for a minute that are hungry, and they know that, the phone stops ringing someday for football. You finally hit an age where you got to put it up. Myself personally, last year I played, I was still sore the Saturday going into the next game from last week, and I was like, this is getting dumb. I got bruises on top of bruises. So a lot of those guys are hungry, and they've just been looking for a different kind of mindset to just not be another rec ball team. They want to be something, so they're following.
Okay, so on the other side of the coin, what areas would you say need improvement on the team?
Well, we need better communication within the interior line. We definitely need to be focused on some more DB work. We've always had a challenge with O-line because it's 9-man ball. So the 2 outside linemen next to the center, which on a 5-man team would be called a guard, they have to play guard and tackle. They have to be able to really move, almost arena style, if you will, with a bigger field. So that takes a little bit of more coaching, more one-on-one time, which leads us to our biggest challenge, and that is to find coaches that want to come out and put the work in. This level of ball is a lot about just doing it for the love of the game. So if I could find a couple more men or even experienced women that know how to coach to come in and take some of that off the plate, that would help.
And how are you building team chemistry? Because everybody has to come together and work together and be able to communicate.
So what I've done is I've picked a player from certain positions, like Steve Harge is our center, but he's also our O-line player coach, is what we're calling it. Devontae Humphreys is our defensive line player coach. Kayvon is our offensive wide receiver player coach. Kane is our DB player coach. So these players have the same authority as a coach, same responsibility as a coach, but they're still players. So they get to decide with me who starts, who plays where. So now everybody has to be accountable, because when my back is turned, say I'm working with the linebackers, the O-line can't slack off anymore because that player coach, Steven, is standing there watching, and he's coaching. So the communication is coming from me straight to Steven and Steven to the line. So when I do turn back to go work with the line, and the verbiage I hear is the verbiage that we've already agreed on. So the communication is growing. And the players are buying into it, because now they're held accountable no matter where Coach Parker's standing.
Now, are some of these veterans players on the team then?
All of them. All of them are very, very big vets and very skilled players.
So you're counting on them. What approach do you use in developing some of these players' skills anyway?
Start with the very basics, from your toes to your nose. We watch everything they do, how they set up their feet, how they step forward, step backwards. It's literally, as silly as this sounds, I watch them from Pop Warner, and I grade them on a scale all the way up into, say, D2 level football player. I'm watching for what they're doing, and I'm instantly correcting them. I'm coming over and saying, okay, I understood what you did, but let's try this. Your kick step is 6 inches. Let's kick that hip just a little bit more, point those toes a little bit farther back, get 2 more inches. Now we got 8. In 2 steps, you're 16 inches back instead of 12. Now you're back in front of the guy. Or the wide receivers, when they need to cut flat and drag across the field, and I find them floating 4 yards up the field, I bring them over to me. I say, okay, listen, the quarterback gets the ball here. He takes 2 steps. You float 3 yards. You've made this now a 20-yard pass instead of 15 yards. I need you to hug that line so you'll hit the window between the offensive linemen at the right moment with the right depth for the throw.
So how do you prepare your players mentally for the game, before the game, and then also at halftime? I mean, are you a coach that said, go out and get one for the Gipper? Or, what do you say to your players as you get them ready?
Pre-game is all about believing in each other and they finding their own rhythm and then just putting some targets on the board. Like I'd like to score first. I want to win the flag battle. We have he who with the less flags usually wins. And we set a first half target list. These 3 things we need to accomplish in the first half. When we meet in halftime, we should be in the lead. Then when we come in at halftime, it's all about adjustment. What have we been watching the other team do? What do we need to slightly adjust on our team? And then another boost of energy with 3 or 4 more targets for the second half.
So that's kind of how you handle adversity during the game?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, checking to see, whether or not you need to make some adjustments and that kind of thing. How do you evaluate player performance throughout the season anyway? Do you have a checklist that you go through?
I do it 2 ways. I make notes off of all our game film, and then I have practice notes. So I go home, when I'm driving home from a practice, I use a recorder on my phone, and I talk to it, usually almost all the way home. And then I send that over to rev.com, and it translates it into words for me, and I can chop it up and put it in. And then I'm having weekly calls with each one of the player captains and saying, hey, did you notice this about Anthony? Or did you notice that CJ was just lining up a little too far outside? Or have you made an adjustment I don't know about? So I'm trying to communicate with all those players, and then I get to practice 30 minutes early. If I have 3 or 4 people I need to talk to, I want to catch them before the practice.
So what does a successful season look like to you, David?
SPFL champion.
And that's the bottom line.
Bottom line.
There you go. Okay. Now, what challenges are unique to coaching at the semi-pro level anyway?
Unique to the level is you get a lot of people who have a very high opinion of how well they did in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And they come in sort of like they think they're entitled to be something on this level.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't want to put the work in. When they were in high school, they got pushed a little bit. Now they're graduated, they're doing their own thing, they got their own life, they got all the adulting pressures, but now they're not hitting the gym, but they're still trying to run fast. They're coming to practice late because, they don't pay me,
Right.
kind of mentality. And they're the ones that don't get the rings.
Mm-hmm. What message do you have for the fans for the upcoming season?
Come on out and have some fun because this is going to be good.
All right. Mark, I want to get back to you and talk to you. How do you find some of these players anyway? Because I know you have to look all around not only the state but the country too.
Yeah, it's just you cast out your web. It's just a bunch of networking essentially. A lot of it's getting lucky. You go recruit one guy, you find one guy who is a good athlete, great athlete in college, comes out to a practice. Well, he ends up loving it, so he brings 4 or 5 of his other buddies. A lot of recruiting, you luck into some of it, if I'm being honest. But you have to put your work in. You really have to do your due diligence. Our website, as I mentioned earlier, has really helped. It's been a great tool for us. Just hit up local colleges, email their coaches, see if they have any athletes that are looking to develop and, potentially go to higher arena levels, It could go any which way.
Right. And now, do you still stream broadcast your ball games, or is that not going to be happening this season?
We're still trying to figure that out for this
Okay.
season. I think we will get it figured out. It's kind of tedious to work with,
Sure.
but we just have to get the right people in place.
It's kind of up in the air at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. And when are your games? Are they Friday nights, Saturday nights? And I know they're at H.A. Lynn Stadium.
So we play Saturday evenings, 6 p.m. kickoffs generally.
Okay. And I'm sure you're still looking for sponsors.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a handful of sponsorship packets that we have out there, or a handful of sponsorship. What's the word? Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Potential sponsors.
Yeah, I mean, we have a sponsorship packet that we can send out to potential sponsors, and it's got just a bunch of guidelines of what we can offer, what we can do for them. We're a 501c3 nonprofit, so it's tax deductible. And we just try to get out there, get out in the community and help, and help promote them, and they help fund us because it's not free for us to do this. It's pay to play for the players, and I try to do as much as I can to alleviate some of that financial burden on them.
Sure. Now, can people get tickets ahead of time, or are they just available at the gate?
Yeah, I actually have season tickets right here.
Okay.
They're actually available now. We just had to rework our schedule just a hair because we had a team drop out from the league. But as of now, we have three guaranteed home games. Up to 2 more, if the season goes according to plan, which I think it will.
Okay. Well, good deal. Well, thanks for talking with us, guys, and I hope you have a successful season. I'm looking forward to heading out to the games, and I hope you have great support for the community, and I wish you nothing but the best. It is a tradition in Newton to have the Nite Hawks here, and I hope you have the league championship.
No hope. It's coming home.
Oh, okay, all right.
It's coming home.
Good deal. All right. Our interview guests have been David Robinson.
Parker.
I'm sorry. I'll edit that out. Our interview guests have been David Parker, head coach of the Iowa Nite Hawks, and Mark Mackerman, who is owner and I guess he's a chief coach and cheerleader for the Iowa Nite Hawks.
Whatever's needed.
That's right, on Out and About with Jamie Groud. Other fine sponsors for this podcast include Lynette Baker, Halo Branded Solutions. You can find her business card on the sponsors page of outandaboutwithjamiegrout.com. Westside Java Coffee Bar on the west side of the square in downtown Newton. The Made Right Sandwich Shop, serving breakfast 7 days a week. And Jersey Freeze, always there to please, Jersey Freeze in Monroe. Until next time, out is out. See ya.